I'm Crystal Gainey with Antlered Doe Outdoors, and we're out here with 2-Egg TV on Ocheesee Pond in Jackson County, Florida. This is the Ocheesee Paddling Trail.
My first reaction walking down the boat ramp and my first sight of the pond, I've never been to Ocheesee before. It's just beautiful. It's just raw nature at its core, just looking out at the gorgeous water, all of the cypress trees, the lily pads. First thing I saw when I walked down the bottom of the boat ramp was an over 10-foot alligator just hanging out, 150 yards off from the boat ramp, which is a little intimidating, but we're not afraid of gators.
When you leave the landing, you're going to come out into the open part of the pond, which is, it's not really pond-like, it's more like a lake. It's big, and the water is a lot more clear than what I expected, a lot more cool. It's not like pond water, it's cooler, like a spring-fed pond. And then you get out to the edges where there's the cypress swamps, where it's just, as you can see, all these big cypress trees close together and the lily pads in between them. When you get back in here, it's a lot of fun to paddle. It's a lot of fun to drive a boat. It'll test your driving skills, but it's kind of like an obstacle course for the boat driver. I like it though. It's a challenge.
This is definitely one of the most beautiful places that I've seen in Northwest Florida. It's just one of the most raw, untouched places, I think. You don't see a lot of people back in here. I don't think a lot of people come back in here and do this paddling trail. We've got a lot of water attractions in this area of the state, so I think that this is probably not a super popular one, but I don't see why not, because to me this is just gorgeous. I love coming out here. I mean, just the wildlife, we saw an egret didn't even fly away when we drove by him. Dragonflies, butterflies, birds singing over our heads. Just beautiful out here. Quiet when you're just paddling. I mean, you hear nothing, and that is just amazing.
It's two totally different type of places all in the same pond. Like, you've got the openness out there when you first come out, and then as you get out into these edges, it's just like insane how it seems like it's a totally different place on earth.
Paddling out here, it wouldn't be much of a challenge. When you first come off the boat ramp out into the big opening, there was a little bit of wind, a little bit of current, but when you get back in here to the paddling trail, the water is like glass. It's just, you can go at your own pace. You're not going upstream or downstream. There's not a big crowd. I don't think you're going to deal with a lot of motorboats like you would on some of the creeks and the spring runs if you're taking your young children. I, as a parent, get nervous when my boys are on a kayak and a boat comes barreling by us. It's a little nerve-wracking. So out here, I feel like this is a place you could bring your family and probably see nobody else.
One of the first things that we saw before we even got the boat in the water was probably a 10-foot alligator. So there's an abundance of wildlife, like alligators, birds and stuff. And then just with the cypress trees, the way that they are, I would absolutely say that's a pretty fitting description.
The only thing that I've seen that's a little intimidating is the size of the gators out here. This pond is known for gators in upwards of 15 feet. Like I said, we saw one right at the boat ramp that was over 10. They're not going to come up and bother you. They're not going to bother you as much as they don't want you to bother them. Now, would I bring my dog out here and let him swim around? Probably not. But to come out here and paddle, they're not going to bother you. For more information, visit us at 2eggtv.com. I'm Lindsay Kiefer, and you are watching Antlered Doe Outdoors on 2Egg TV.